Hello everyone, I'm here today to show you how I press these new Christmas ornaments that I made. I have a shape of a bell, a fish, and a generic rectangle shape. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pressing, making plant impressions into these shapes so that you can hang a little holiday tile or shape, ceramic shape on your tree, to add to your ornament collection, to incorporate my work into your holiday season. So this is the mold that we made yesterday. It's a kind of unique mold with the three shapes. So there's a specific way that we'll press these. So first I want to show how this die attaches to the press. So the press is a piece of equipment that I bought. I have two of these presses. The company doesn't make them anymore. They didn't sell enough of them. So I have two of them, and I'm very happy I do. So you attach the die that you're using to the top. And we have another die in the bottom that's just solid plaster. Okay, so it takes a little effort. These molds weigh about, I don't know, 15, 20 pounds. You got to hold it upside down and bolt it in. It's not easy to do. It's not, it's not really difficult, but it takes a little effort. So almost got it. So this mold, I just made it. This die I just made yesterday. So it has a lot of moisture in it, and it's going to press well. If you're taking a brand new mold that's been sitting here, you have to spray them with water. You have to prep them, get them ready for pressing. You want them somewhat saturated with water inside of the mold. So you might want to pour water on it for half an hour. Leave it soaking in water for half an hour, or spritz it with a water bottle. Connect it to the air compressor. Turn it on. See if it's bubbling. I'll show this in another episode. But we know that this mold, this die I'm putting on here now, is ready to go because I just made it yesterday. It's brand new. It was just full of water last night. So we have some tubes that are connecting the dies to the air compressor. So the top die and the bottom die are both going to be connected to the air compressor. Check. There's a switch on the side here that you can't see that controls where the air pressure goes. I can either turn on the air pressure so it goes to the top die, or it goes to the bottom die. It's kind of a personal preference as to how you want to remove the tiles from the press after you press them. Sometimes you'll have, and it really comes down to the tile maker or the tile press, the person who's pressing the tile to know how the different dies work and which dies are easier to press and other ones are more difficult. It's one of the things about this die making is it's always something that's a little different about each tile you're pressing. Some tiles press really easy, and it's easy just to pull one after the other off the press. Other times you have molds that want to stick in places, and you have to press 10 of them before it really wants to release easily. So this is something you learn when you start pressing tiles. Typically we just put a chunk of clay on the bottom of the press because there's one tile in the middle of the die, and we just press it. This is a unique situation because we have three ornaments in the mold. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some clay here. We're going to make balls of clay that are about the size of the ornaments. And then because we're going to be pressing nature, into these ornaments, I have here a cedar bough. Cedar is an evergreen that lives in Michigan. It likes swamps and has a really nice smell. So I'm going to put the nature right in the middle of the ball of clay, and I'm going to, you know, this isn't perfect. You got to bend over. You got to look up here. I'm going to stick this one in the bell ornament. So I'm going to put this little piece of nature. I'm going to center it right in the middle of where the bell is, and then I'm just going to stick it up there. Give it a little stick. It'll stick there. So let's do the other ones. We have the fish. I try to just pick some nature that looks interesting. One thing that you learn is that when you press these, you can put the nature that you put on there, the leaf or the needles. You can have it so it's bigger than the ornament, so then it kind of presses around it. That'll look neat sometimes. Fish, there's the fish. Now we have the little rectangle shape here. Okay. Here's a little sprig. We'll try to center that, make that look like a piece of cedar in nature. Okay, now to press these. So when we press, we're going to lower the upper die ring, and we're going to we don't want to do this very hard. We don't want to jam this. We just want to do a steady kind of pressure, watching the clay. You'll see the clay squeeze out of the mold. You don't want to yank on this too hard because you can strip the pin in here, and then you got to fix it. So that takes a while if that happens. So you can tell when it doesn't want to go down anymore. Then you stop. Okay, so next step is to release the tiles. So as soon as you press it, you can turn on the air pressure. So there's two different ways to release these tiles from the die. You can either release them from the top, which is where the design is. The ornaments are right now, the die is on the top. You can either release it from the top, or you can release it from the bottom first. Again, this is something that you really kind of have to figure out what works best for you. Some molds, it seems like when you release them from the top, it works better. Other molds, if you release it from the bottom, it works better. Typically, I like to release it from the top. So what that means is, right now the press is down, tiles are smashed in there, we want to release it. So we have to put air pressure either on the top or the bottom to release that. So I'm going to turn it on the top. So what that's doing is it's forcing air into my mold, my die ring, and it's loosening those ornaments that I stuck in there. I'm going to do that right now. You can hear it happening. Do this for about 30 seconds. You can figure out each mold. Some molds you can just do it immediately. So then I'm going to wait a couple more seconds, and then I'm going to lift it up. And the ornaments will be stuck to the bottom now, which they are. That's good. The next step is to release the ornaments from the bottom. So now I'm going to flip the switch and turn the air pressure goes to the bottom. And when I do that, the tiles on the bottom can be loose and they slide right off, just like that. And I turn the air pressure off. And there we have the 3 different ornaments with the nature on them. So the next step is to cut these out. So what you do is you put your ornaments down,
And then you take a knife, and you don't have to do it perfect. We'll trim these later, but you just get the excess clay off the ornament. And then we can set them over here. You see, you can cut right through that cedar that's overhanging. There you have it. Production of ornaments, the new ornaments for 2018 has begun.